Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Galactic Court podcast during this festive season. I'm Andy, your host extraordinaire, as I am every single episode. Welcome back to the show. We are here, as always, on our daily trek at the moment from the 22nd to the 29th of December, reviewing every single episode of Marvel's What If Season 3. Just before we get to that, though, I hope you've all been having a really good festive period, whatever you've been doing, whether you've had to work, whether you've been off work. I hope you've been enjoying the nerd shows that we've got on at the moment. So obviously Marvel's What If, Skeleton Crew that's been on. If you're into Skeleton Crew and you want to see some people chat about it, then you can catch myself and Clan Randalorian every Wednesday whilst the show is on. We're collaborating together to react and review to every single episode, like 10 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Central time, and you can work that out for your time difference if you're in a different zone. But come and join us. You can also catch obviously all the previous episodes on our YouTubes and on my Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere where you can find my social media and my podcasts, you'll find the episodes as well. So jump on for those. But we are definitely here today to discuss the fact that it's my birthday. No, I'm just joking. It is actually my birthday today. I'm an old man now, so it's been a very nice, relaxed day, to be fair. But we are here actually to discuss the of Marvel's What If Season 3, Episode 6, What If 1872. I mean, just first and foremost, this series has been a little bit underwhelming so far, unfortunately. Hasn't quite lived up to the hype that they could have done. I always thought the season 1 has definitely been the best that they've done so far. It seemed to have an overarching storyline that brought everything together, and that was kind of missing in season 2, I felt, even though they did try to do that. And it's only recently I guess yesterday in today's episode started to all come together in terms of what they're planning to do with the Watcher. So yesterday, at the end of yesterday's episode, we had 3 of the Watchers, the Eminence, the Incarnate, and the Executioner, all saying, right, we need to keep an eye on Uato because he's starting to interfere a little bit too much, and he took an oath. So we'll get to that at the end of this episode again. But this episode, What If 1872? So the Watcher does explain that the farther you go out into the multiverse, the weirder universes get, which is absolutely fine if you want to play that card in terms of saying that it's weird. It gives you obviously cover to tell a really weird story. And this isn't necessarily a weird story, but they're covering their bases by going, the farther out you go, the weirder things are. And that's absolutely fine. It is the multiverse after all. It's infinite. So there's going to be situations out there that are super bizarre. We've even seen that with the likes of in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness when he's going through different universes. Some of them out there are super weird. There's one where they were made of paint. There's one that was underwater. So definitely some strange ones out there. But today's episode, 1872, set in the Wild Wild West, and it concerns Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop, where basically the Hood has been terrorizing Chinese immigrants as a way of trying to consolidate his power and take control. Shang-Chi is searching for his sister, and it partners up with Kate Bishop, who's on a mission to avenge the death of her family at the hands of the Hood. They come across another decimated town where they meet a young boy, Jun Fan. But before they get to that, they also have a meeting with no other than the US agent, John Walker. Doesn't seem to have his super strength abilities in this episode. But they do meet him and his goons, take them out pretty easily, to be fair. And they go along, they find this kid, and they talk about the fact that they were aboard a ghost train that sort of left. They find the train, and it turns out they're missing immigrants, including young Jun Fan's dad. His part is on there, and they've all been brainwashed by the Hood's enforcer, Sonny Birch, who is the arms dealer or the weapons dealer that was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is ironic because I was literally watching that yesterday. So the fact that he pops up now, and I sort of sat there and went, is that Sonny Birch from Ant-Man and the Wasp? And then he literally named himself like a minute later. So, this is where the Watcher decides to step in because he basically just can't take things anymore. He wants things to change because he just can't stand the injustice in the universe anymore, it seems, or the multiverse. And so when the younger boy is taken out to be killed, he interferes and basically knocks out the two men that were supposed to kill him, making a change of what was supposed to happen in this universe, which, as we know, the Watcher ain't supposed to be doing this shit. He ain't supposed to be doing anything like this. So the fact that he's done that, starting to piss off the other Watchers, it seems. But then Birch is the one that confesses to also killing Kate Bishop's family rather than the Hood. And he uses a pocket watch to try and trance them. We're going to get to that in a bit when we go through the Easter eggs for the episode. But they finally get to confront the Hood, and it turns out to be Shang-Chi's sister, Zhu Xiaoling. Turns out that when she came here, she thought that she was going to be kidnapped by him, but it seems that she defeated the Hood herself and takes over his demonic cloak, and she basically succumbed to the power of the demonic cloak. So she ended up with scars and basically this whole change of personality in the way that she was trying to do things. Shang-Chi's like refusing to fight her, and then just as it looks like she's going to land a killer blow on him, Kate Bishop kills her. Shang-Chi was really sad, but he doesn't blame Kate Bishop, and then the scars fade away, and the Hood is blown away, and Zhen Fan and the immigrants all ride off into the sunset. And that's when the three Watchers show up, and they basically say to the Watcher that you've broken your oath for the last time. We're not having that. And they like throw him up against, what looks like the mirror dimension type stuff. And it looks like a few shards of the observational plane are sent spiraling out into the multiverse. What kind of effect that's going to have, we're obviously going to see, I guess, in tomorrow's episode, whether that's something that shouldn't obviously be happening either, and it's going to have a large effect on a particular universe or on the multiverse. We're going to find out, aren't we? But let's have a look through quickly some of the Easter eggs from the episode. So obviously the episode starts in the classic burning film effect, which is seen in several westerns. Obviously, Shang-Chi is referred to as the Ten Rings, as we know from the film, and Shang-Chi's bandana is red with white dragon scales, which is a nod to the Great Protector, as seen in the Shang-Chi film. Obviously, we see John Walker, and Kate Bishop is actually called Hawkeye in this episode as well. There's a point when John Walker points Shang-Chi in the direction of Point Pegasus, which is obviously clearly a nod to Project Pegasus, as seen in the Avengers and Captain Marvel. We do hear a bit of Shang-Chi's theme as well in the background, which is actually quite cool. Part of when the Watcher at the start of the episode was talking about the further out into the multiverse you go, the weirder things become. We did get a glimpse of a few bits and pieces. So we saw Crossbones captaining some pirates. We saw Throg and Crokey in a fight together. And then we also found out that there's even a universe where Ultron was programmed to perform show tunes, and I bet he was damn good at that as well. We also get to hear about some of the big names, the titans, I guess, of the MCU industry side of things. So, there was obviously we heard about Stark in there. He was name dropped a couple of times. So Stark Munitions, Hammer Steel, as in Justin Hammer, and Cross Manufacturing, as in Cross Technologies, Darren Cross from Ant-Man. So quite interesting that they were sort of name dropped as being the big ones in there. There was an interesting bit, like I was saying, about when Sonny Birch reveals that he kind of uses this pocket watch to maybe hypnotize the immigrants. I know there's been some debate about whether this is either a nod to, like, say, the brainwashing that Hydra did with the Winter Soldier or something like that, or perhaps Dr. Fausto's hypnosis techniques that were seen in Agent Carter, the TV series. So I don't know if it's a nod to that or where it came from. But if it is nod, it's pretty cool to that, to be fair. We did see Kate Bishop's Hawkeye mention that Zhu Fan has Iron Fists, obviously clearly a nod to the Iron Fist character. And then at the end of the episode, as they ride off into the sunset, we hear Shang-Chi say the sun's getting real low, which is a clear nod to the line that was used by Natasha to calm down Hulk in Age of Ultron. So those are the big Easter eggs from this particular episode. Where the episode sits in terms of rankings for this series, it wasn't a bad episode, to be fair. I don't think it was spectacular. It has no real bearing apart from, as we said, the Watcher interfering a little bit. But it was a fun enough episode. It was a good enough episode. It's neither at the bottom nor is it right at the top either. I still think the Agatha episode 2, sits at the top for me so far. Where you guys think it sits, I'm not really sure either. You'll have to obviously tell me. I'm really looking forward to these last 2 episodes. I think they're going to be up there. I'm really hoping anyway with some of the best that What If have had to offer. Because so far, I mean, you can probably say Hulk episode 1, Hulk fighting Mech Avengers, was a bit underwhelming because he didn't really fight Mech Avengers. As I mentioned, Agatha, I think, was probably the best episode we've had this series. Red Guardian stopping the Winter Soldier episode 3, again, pretty average for me. I found it a little bit annoying. Actually, I wasn't really enamored by it. The Howard the Duck Got Hitched episode has been very controversial. You either seem to love it or hate it. I actually quite enjoyed it, especially all the plethora of MCU villains that showed up in that particular episode. What If the Emergence Destroyed the Earth, episode 5. Again, I wasn't particularly fussed about this episode. It was nice. It was interesting as a concept, but I didn't really think it stood up to the. I think we're sort of getting a little bit bait and switch with the episode titles as well. It's not really appearing to be what the episode title says when it comes to the episode. So, and then today's episode, 1872. I think it hits sort of the middle ground, or maybe upper end compared to some of the other episodes we've got. So, not the top, not the bottom, just sits nice in the middle. I really want to see something spectacular out of these last 2 episodes. They've had so much material they could work with. They could tell so many stories and they haven't done yet. And it was kind of annoying to hear. I can't remember exactly who it was, but one of the writers or something came out and said they didn't even know that Marvel had the rights to the X-Men again, and they could use like Wolverine, for example, in any of the stories. Now, how you don't know that when they've had the rights for a few years now after buying Fox is beyond me. That's actually quite annoying for him to come out and say that, because you could easily have asked, and if you don't know, where have you been all this time? How are you writing stuff for Marvel and not know that you have access to the X-Men? That's kind of stupid, to be honest. So, yeah, these last 2 episodes, it's obviously like a 2-part finale, so to speak. I really want to see something spectacular coming out of it. But that's pretty much it. Just a quick recap of today's episodes. I'll be back tomorrow to review episode 7, What If the Watcher Disappeared? I really hope that is going to be a really big episode, because I'm really looking forward to seeing what does happen in it. But that's pretty much it. So 2 episodes to go. Like I said, I'll be here tomorrow to do that episode, and then the last episode, episode 8, What If, don't know what even to expect from that, apart from a continuation of the Watcher story. So we will have to wait and see exactly what does happen. But join us tomorrow for that episode. But until then, everyone, thank you very much for joining us. Catch you later.
Thanks for tuning in to the Galactic Core Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. But until next time, go get your geek on.